Hi guys, welcome back in the swing studio here. It's Mike Newton, and today we're just going to test some shafts here. Basically, we've got a steel shaft against a graphite shaft. Now, I've just recently done a video just with just saying to maybe you guys, what are you choosing? Are you choosing steel? Are you choosing graphite? Why would you choose that? What would you go out and actually look for? Now, you can go and check that video out. That's a little bit more in depth in terms of maybe what you want to go and choose in terms of when you go and test these clubs. Maybe what I'm just going to do here is actually hit a steel shaft against a graphite shaft and have a look at some numbers on GC2 HMT here, and maybe just see if numbers are changing. In theory, graphite is lighter. We possibly should see a little bit more club head speed maybe. Steel's obviously heavier, so we may see a slower swing head, club head speed, but we also may see some changes of launch and spin. So we're going to test that and maybe just have a look at those numbers. Okay, so what I've got here is a Srixon Z565 head. Okay, so I'm going to use the same head in both shafts here. I've got the Modus Tor 130 in stiff in the steel option, and then I've got the Miyazaki graphite option in the other shaft. So both stiff flex. They're both an inch longer than standard, and the head is 2 degrees upright, which is nearer to my spec for my 6'5" gangly height. Okay, so we're going to start with the steel shaft first. We're going to hit a batch of shots, and then we'll flick over, use graphite, and we'll have a look at some numbers. Okay, so there's a batch of shots hit with a Modus Tor 130 in stiff, the steel option. Just going to flick the shaft over now into the graphite, and then we'll hit another batch of batch of shots, and we'll come back and have a look at some numbers. Okay, Miyazaki graphite now into the head. Okay, definitely, first impressions here, it does obviously feels a lot lighter. Having said that, I do find a lot of guys when they're in maybe for club fitting and testing these, is people feel it differently. Okay, I've just put a graphite shaft into head here. Now, it obviously feels a lot lighter up into my hands, but I can feel the head a little bit more. So with the shaft being lighter, I can feel the weight of the head more. The head's exactly the same as what's just been in steel, but because the steel shaft, the weight was more sort of spread throughout the whole length of the golf club. Now I'm feeling it a lot more just at the end. Okay, now some guys pick up that graphite option and think, oh, it feels heavier because they're feeling it all at the end. Some guys pick it up and feel, oh, it's lighter. I mean, I'm definitely feeling that lighter. Definitely under my hands here, I can feel it a lot lighter here. So it'd be interesting to see if I find middle straight away, because this is something I'm not used to. It might just feel a bit too light for me, but let's give it a go. Okay, so we'll hit the first shot with the graphite shaft. Okay, feels good. We'll hit a batch of shots, we'll come back shortly. Okay, so there we have it. We have just had it batch with the graphite shaft option here. Definitely feels a little bit lighter there. Maybe just, to me, feels like I'm just struggling to control or feel where the head is actually during the swing there. But comes off quite well there. So I'm seeing a little bit of visual difference, but we'll dig deeper on these numbers. Let's have a quick look at them. Okay, so let's just have a look at some of these numbers here. So we've got the obviously steel shaft shots there, graphite shaft shots below in the red. So obviously first we're going to look at club head speed here. So we can see they're averaging with steel shaft 93.1, Graphite, we've upped it to 95.2. So this is something that I would expect to see really. Obviously a lighter material, we're generally going to squeeze a little bit of club head speed out there, and we are seeing that. Ball speed's jumped up a little bit, but maybe not as much as I'd expect in terms of a 2 mile an hour increase on club head speed. I'd probably expect to see a little bit more out on average there. So that's where maybe just sort of mentioned before, I just didn't quite feel like I could feel where the head was, and then maybe the strikes just suffered a little bit on there. There wasn't any horrendous strikes there, but they just didn't quite sort of get them out of the middle as much. Maybe a little bit more time hitting the graphite and getting used to the weight. Obviously I'm not used to that. I may just sort of realign the face or the sweet spot up to the ball a little bit easier there. Launch angle, you see, just popped up a little bit higher, not a lot to be honest, 16.8 up against 17. Backspin just dropped fractionally there, so may have expected to see a little bit more spin there, but again, strike's really going to change that more than anything. Peaking height here, just 2 yards higher on its peak height, descending at the same angle, and we're seeing 2 yards more carry distance on average, so very minimal amounts of gains in terms of distance there. So I think for me personally, the difference of gains here isn't big enough to maybe make me change. I think feel is going to be a bigger aspect here, which, you know, obviously I'm a fairly decent club head speed, so I don't really need the help of the graphite option here. Okay, so there we have it, the little test here against a steel shaft against a graphite shaft. As you can probably see there, there's some small gains there in terms of club head speed, a little bit of ball speed and a smidge more distance there, but nothing that's really going to say, oh, I need to swap into graphite, I need to get out there and get a new set and go into graphite. I think the biggest thing here, and again I say this a lot with these videos and in terms of fittings and shaft options and flexes and all this sort of thing, is feel plays a massive part of it. Okay, and for me, I mean, obviously I'm being used to a fairly heavier steel option. I can feel the weight of the club, I can feel where it is through the swing, and that helps with strikes, and strikes is key here. Graphite just feels a little bit light in the hands. Okay, I can feel the head a little bit, but I feel very light in where I'm holding it. So maybe for me it's obviously not maybe the best option for me, but there is certain golfers out there, and you may be one of them, where you may need that little bit of speed. You're in a slower swing speed bracket, which is fine. Swing speed is just a number, okay? There's no right or wrong number here, and this is the whole reason for custom fits, to find something to suit your particular speed. We don't want to be upping your speed 10 mile an hour, 15 mile an hour. It's virtually impossible to do that because you'd just be swinging out your boots. But little gains of 1, 2, 3 mile an hour in terms of club head speed. If you can keep your strike good, then you're going to see some distance gains there, which may just help you when you're out on that golf course. Hope you found this video interesting. Comment below if you've got any thoughts on that test I've just done there. Any feedback? I'd be glad to hear of your comments really. Please hit the subscribe button up here. You know, try and get subscribed. If you're watching this video and you haven't subscribed, please do so. You'll get notified for more videos getting posted and keep you up to speed with what's going on. Thanks for watching. We'll see you all very soon.